I don't think I'm a good person, at least not by default. This is actually the second time I'm doing this video since I was not really happy with the first time. So I'm trying to, or I tried to go back to the drawing board and map out what I wanted to say, what was the initial thought or drive behind making this video, because I felt like it was very generic and didn't really deliver the message that I wanted to put out there. And as I said in the past, I want to make videos that I would want to watch, that I would want to consume. So something that might be educational or at least interesting, but then also personal. And I feel like the personal factor was missing before. So let's try this again. I've been talking a lot about being kind, being mindful, and just empathetic in a lot of my videos. And I feel like in this day and age where, I don't know, everything seems so cold and just daunting, I feel like empathy is a superpower, is something that comes in very handy, and I feel like it's something that we need to put on a pedestal more. Growing up, obviously, looking back now, I know that I've acted selfishly and I hurt people, maybe not on purpose. I know for a fact not always on purpose, but sometimes I did. I even, like in the past 8-9 years that I've been with my wife, we had multiple fights where I said things that I still very much regret saying, and I only said them at the moment because I wanted to hurt the person I love the most. I've done a lot of stupid shit, a lot of dumb stuff in the past. Yes, I was a kid or a teenager. Looking back, like as a kid, I threw a stone at a neighbor's kid, and thankfully she was just bleeding a little bit on her head, but like, who does that? You know, I've played with fireworks, I've stolen little things here and there, you know, like really dumb stuff. I asked myself, like, when was the point, or where was the point where I was changing for better? And I know as a teenager, especially as a boy, you do stupid shit. Like I see it now. A couple of weeks ago, I yelled at neighbors' kids because they were shooting fireworks at 11 p.m. at night. And I was yelling at them out of my window. So I still see it, people do that. I asked myself the question, like, why did my wife stuck it out with me? Like, why did my wife stay with me, and why did my wife... She early on showed me a mirror and pushed me towards this thought of, hey, you know, maybe reflect on your behavior, and you're not dumb, obviously. You know the things that you do that are bad or wrong. Maybe reflect on them and try to be better. And she pushed me towards that. She was thankfully big enough in her, like, her ego aside, her hurt personality by my stupid things aside, she was big enough to say, hey, I want this, and if you wanted to, you have to change things, or you have to work on yourself. Because she didn't want me to change necessarily, but she wanted me to better myself. And I know I'm not perfect, nobody is. I'm not saying you should be perfect, you should always be the perfect human being. That's not realistic and nobody asks that. But I feel like in the last couple of years I've become more empathetic because of doing the work, but then also because of anxiety, because anxiety makes you feel things much deeper and much stronger. It helped me to, you know, understand more, okay, what could this person go through, what could that person feel? And also obviously being open and talking about those things, you understand, oh, okay, it's not just this trivial thing, this person is actually going through some stuff. And I feel like that's such a big thing nowadays, where people don't really do that anymore. People on the internet are just mad and yelling at each other. Even people nowadays with all the political division, that a lot of groups cause, they don't think about like what simple thing the other person wants, what fear is driving the other person's anger, what anger is driving the other person's fear. Being empathetic also brings our problems into perspective. Like, if you understand truly what a person goes through, you might put your problem into perspective and say, okay, it's not that bad, granted, like at least I don't have to, blah, blah. And I feel like this is such an important thing nowadays, where in this cold, dark world, empathy could be this shining light that helps us to come together again. And with empathy, compassion is the next thing that I would say is very important these days. Like, not only understanding how the other person feels, but actually wanting to make them feel better, you know, offer some sort of hope or relief from their pain, from their suffering. And compassion is most of the time a very selfless act, and with that, altruism is something that is often just ignored or overlooked or not even mentioned. I feel like altruism is such an important thing these days, where you do something just for the sense of helping or feeling the need for compassion or just being nice. No second thought, no like, but if you do this, then blah, blah, you know. I know I've been in a bubble and I've been watching a lot of videos lately about the situation in the US and Iran. And I feel like just the killing and the violence and the anger and hatred has been normalized so much by certain groups that you could almost say that kindness is completely lost, which I know is not true, but it sure seems like that sometimes. And I know that being kind, being selfless, doing something just out of the need of helping someone, being compassionate helps you too. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel good about yourself. And that feeling alone is so much more worth it than hatred, than anger, than all of those negative things. And I know that about myself, and that is one of the things that I need and want to do more, is that I need to train certain behaviors more. I need to be more compassionate about certain things. I need to be more, I know I'm a kind person, but I want to be kinder. I want to spread more kindness, because I feel like you need to counterweight all that bullshit that's going on. I said it in the beginning, and I want to say it again. I sometimes don't feel like I'm a good person. The question now is, can you be good even though you did some things in the past? And I feel like yes, you can, but only if you own the bad shit that you've done. Maybe apologize to people you've hurt, and then try to better yourself. Actively try to better yourself. Take the responsibility. You can always turn things around. I think that's always possible, and people give you second chances if you really mean it. And again, I don't think that being a good person is about being perfect. It's about noticing your patterns, owning your shit, and try to be better. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing if you like what I do. Thanks for your support. It really means the world, and I wish you lots of happiness and health in the new year. Thank you.